Alrighty, guys, welcome to another little chat amongst the coaches. Today we have Simon, who hasn't done his pre-reading or thought of anything to talk about this week. Adam, who thought about a million things too many, so we had to cut him down to one. And Jules, who's on mute today. So we're trying to figure out how sound works. But we're on a tight schedule today because the things are happening. Simon, what things are happening? Hit us.
All right, so the most important thing about today's chat is, more important than all of the other stuff, we'll start kicking off Super Saturdays, 7:30, Saturday, 2nd of May, and then we'll be phasing in some classes.
Yes!
Okay, and the chat, we're done. That's all we need.
Is that all we're saying? We're not going to tell them what we talked about before? Is that going, or is it going out in an email? How are they going to understand where this news is coming from?
Well, all of the info will be sent out in the emails later today.
Thank you. Jules, exciting news for you as well. We talked to you on the phone just beforehand. Simon, he is okay. So Jules will be back doing some classes. A special class will be coming soon. It will be slightly different to the boxing classes that have been before. It will also be in the email from Simon. So get excited for that. Look at him. He's so excited. Look at his little face. No. Well, yeah, kind of. You can do what you want. It's your class. And Adam, what have you been up to this week, mate? Because Jules shaved his face and forgot how to use a microphone. So what have you been up to? Did you shave your face as well?
I told you I was still never shaved before.
Yeah, we know. I know.
And as you can see, there's clearly no need for me to. So, no, I haven't shaved.
How you stimulate growth? Shave every day.
Yeah.
Or
I don't have to shave every day.
believe that you can, and you will.
Too hippie. Go back to science.
Push it out.
My audio back?
Yes, he's
Yes!
back!
I thought all right, we're good.
That was well done, guys. We're all very much in time with that. That was good. All right, so Jules, did you have a topic?
I've just been doing I keep reading my same thing.
Okay, so you can update us on your training so far, okay? So we can go with that. But we've got a couple of things we wanted to talk about. Adam, you kick us off, mate, because I feel like yours could be a rabbit hole. So let's go.
Well, this could get very... I know you can take it down lots of different routes. So I just start with, like, the topic is, like, motivation is bullshit. So a lot of us think, I need to look at my motivational quotes and watch my motivational videos. I need someone to motivate me or whatever in order to engage in my physical activity, whether that be the gym, go for a run, whatever. And if you take that approach, you're never going to get anything done because you're constantly relying on someone else to create that motivation for you, or you're like, everyone feels motivation at some point. So motivation is kind of like a roller coaster. Sometimes you'll be up, you'll be feeling fantastic. It's very easy to get the best workout you can do when you're feeling motivated. But it's those times when, you're sitting on the couch, there's pretty much nothing you'd rather do. No, the last thing you want to do is do exercise. And that's like the whole concept behind that is why motivation's bullshit, and how, like, discipline is the key driver to success within that. So you think about, like, if you think about it as daily tasks that you would accomplish, like brushing your teeth, you don't need to motivate yourself every morning and every night to brush your teeth. Like, you just understand the importance of it. You have the discipline to brush your teeth every morning and every night. And if you take that approach to physical activity and you have that discipline, you set aside that time within your week, you get it done whether you're feeling motivated or not. And then some days you're obviously going to feel more motivated than others. And it'll be very easy to get up off the couch and get your workout in, but some days it's going to be tough. But it's all about starting, and then once you start, you'll kickstart that process to getting motivated. If that makes sense.
Who would like to comment first?
I've never actually thought about it, about anything like that, until Adam brought it up in the chat. And it's interesting. I'm pretty reliant on motivation, and it's probably something that you need to address internally. Like you said, understanding the importance of it and just being disciplined enough to do it. And then I think there's obviously weight to it, because making a habit of things is always the best way to make sure you maintain consistency over long periods of time. And then I'm habitual with a lot of things, and they seem to be the things that I'm most successful with. So like when I was studying towards the end, when I actually started getting good grades for the first time, it became because I had these structures in place that I followed every week. And it had nothing to do with how I was feeling on the day or whether I was motivated for an upcoming exam. It was just Tuesday afternoon was study time, and that's just the way it was. So I guess approaching training in a similar sense, especially for athletes, when it has like really big repercussions, is something that I haven't looked that much into, and I think it's interesting. I like listening to Adam talk about it.
So, Jules, my question to you was, is based on what you just said, you said you weren't motivated to do the exams, but you're motivated to get the degree, right? You wanted to get a degree. So that's motivation in itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know what you're saying, Adam, but to a degree, I slightly disagree. I think the motivation isn't bullshit. I think it's very important. You've just got to realize daily motivation is probably not the way you're going to get it done.
Yeah, I'm not saying motivation overall is bullshit, but I should rephrase it. I should say
reliance on external motivation is completely stupid.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you want to do something, you've got to have there's got to be a motivating factor for you to do anything, realistically. Yeah. Even to brush your teeth, like you said before, your motivating factor behind brushing your teeth is that you don't want to have teeth when you're older that aren't there or look like shit, or you don't want to have like brown teeth your whole life. Like that's still a motivating factor. So motivation doesn't have to be in your face. Like, you have to do, like, you don't have to watch Never Back Down before every workout you do, because
did it ever win an award?
No, it got robbed of an Oscar.
It's one of the award of the hearts and minds of everyone that's ever watched it.
Never Back Down 1 or 2?
No, 1.
There's a second one?
Yeah, number 1.
I don't care.
Talk about
the one where what literally just plays Rise Against on repeat pretty much, like, the whole way through it. My God, that's a film. But like you don't have to be motivated by, the people that have like a photo on their phone with a quote on it. So every time they look at, like, really, does that motivate you? Or have you just like, and I don't even think that external motivation is a bad thing if it gets you in the habit. So if you could, but you've still got that overall internal motivation inside yourself to do something well. So like, otherwise you wouldn't do shit, would you? Like, that's what I think.
Yeah, that's probably a better way of putting it. Like, I probably shouldn't have come like blanket statement motivation's bullshit, but like,
well, that's how you get rise from everyone.
Yeah. That's how you get
That's how you get the Instagram. That's how you. No, but that's it's good. It's good that you phrase it that way, because otherwise we'd just sit around here agreeing with everyone and we wouldn't have a conversation about it. You know, like, so. Yeah, I 100% agree with what you said after you said the statement, but like the clarity within the statement, I think was where I disagreed with what you just said.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we're on the same page. We're just talking about it differently.
Yeah.
And then, I interpreted it as though like you need a cornerstone of motivation that motivates the whole journey, but then each step on the journey, you can't rely on motivating yourself to take every single step to get to the goal. So you kind of have that cornerstone, and then you need to put the structures in place to maintain, constant motivation and keep everything constant. And that's a better way of finding success than every morning waking up and taking 2 scoops of pre-workout and watching a highlights video and trying to motivate yourself on a session by session basis.
Yeah. I even think if you need pre-workout to do your workout at the intensity that you're required to do your workout, like, you're probably not doing what you need to be doing. You probably dropped the ball somewhere along the line with your recovery or something like that to get you in the right state of mind.
Or the last thing you need to be doing on that day is like going as hard as you can. That's like a day where you just take it easy,
like
get through your movements.
Listen to your body and go, maybe I should auto-regulate here and drop down a little bit for the long-term success of my project. Simon, you're awfully quiet there. What's going through that magnificent mind of yours?
Yeah, I was going to probably say I was along the same lines as Jules as well, but I see Adam's point of view. Like, I'm a creature of habit and routine, so that, like, it's been thrown out a bit with all of what's going on, but that is, I don't need the motivation to do it. I just need the routine. But then on the flip side is when I know I've got competition or something, that is the motivation.
Yeah. I kind of take it back to when I was swimming, and so swimming is a real crazy sport in the fact that you have one competition at the end of like a 12-month cycle.
Yeah.
And that's all that you're focusing on, really. Like, there's other ones that are important that kind of jump, like you get your little stones that you can jump. What is it? Friggin'
Stepping stones.
Stepping stones. That's it. How could I not remember stepping stones?
Jumping stones.
Stepping stones along the way. But like at the end of the day, it is that, that national championship, that Olympic trials, and like Olympic trials is every 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's generally what you're looking at. Most of these guys are looking at like Olympic trials in X many years. That's why it's so hard for athletes like right now, who like swimmers, athletics, all those guys are Olympic sports, because who knows if the Olympics is even happening. They spend 4 years.
Going back to Adam's point, is like, if you have to post something to be like, I'm going to do this today, and you need to like promote it to the world, I think that's like fucking lame.
So you don't think like telling everyone to get accountability is not a useful tool?
No, I think that's fine. I mean, it's like, all those Instagram people, influencers who post.
Whoa, mate. You're talking
very stupid, like petty motivational quotes, like to try and like, I don't know, where, motivation is bullshit.
Right, Ryan's very offended right now as an influencer.
Well, it's an
influencer.
I see motivation as bullshit as well, but
I've been trying to get the results that you want, yeah? So get the result that you want, or the reason you started trying to do something in the first place. If your motivation is coming externally from somewhere else, or some account that you follow, or some stupid like thing, like affirmations aren't stupid. I use affirmations all the time, but that's an internal thing for me anyway. But like using other people's shit to get you to your goal.
Yeah, it should definitely be internal. As opposed to
like, so if you don't want it, why are you doing it?
Yeah, like in summary, there's that large goal that you have, which is your primary motivator, and along the way, it's going to be like a roller coaster in terms of how much motivation you have day to day, and that's when discipline comes in. And having that discipline to, regardless of how motivated you're feeling on that day to get what you need to get done, will then get you towards that goal, which is your overall motivator.
Yeah. Habit and routine are pretty much the same thing though, aren't they? So like habit, come up with something cool for everyone. Like I did the other day. What did I say? Hustle John Cena style. What out of the other one? The one where we talked.
What was it?
That was sick, and that was just off the cuff. I didn't even think of that.
Hustle, recover, adapt, or something like that.
Hustle, recover, adapt. Yeah, man. Let's get that on a T-shirt, Simon. Hustle, recover, adapt.
Actually, I think I saw someone that posted like something very similar.
Oh fuck! They stole my idea.
It wasn't hustle, but the first it was.
Hustle, recover, adapt. What a name! What a freaking thing to say. But anyway, I was going to say you probably can break it down to habit, discipline, support, because you need other people. Like if you've got something you want to do, if you haven't got I honestly believe if you don't have accountability and you haven't told people that you're going to do something, like it's going to be very hard for you to stay on track because no one knows and no one's going to go, oh, how's that thing going? Like people don't like to be shamed when someone goes like, for example, when me and Simon first opened the gym, as a 21-year-old, I told freaking everyone that we were opening a gym. Like I was opening a gym with Simon, and they were like, "You doing that?" And then every time, and I knew if I didn't do it, it's a real easy get out way because I hate being proved wrong. So I told everyone, literally everyone, anyone who could listen, as a marketing thing, but mainly so we actually, it kind of made sure it happened. So when I saw those people again, they go, "Oh, how's that gym thing going?" I go, "It's going sick, man," because they're wanting me to say, like, we're not doing that anymore. Because people hate it when people are achieving stuff. Like, we all get all like happy and stuff, but tall poppy syndrome is a thing.
Yeah.
Are we done with that conversation, or we want to keep going? I'm happy to keep going. I love this stuff.
Well, if you want to keep going, I've got so I posted it on my Instagram the other day, but I was reading this book that the author talks about how you can kind of hack that whole motivation thing. So a lot of the time, so we'll go back to the original, a lot of the time people wait to feel that motivation in order to do something. So you have the motivation, which then feeds into the action, which then you get inspiration for whatever that action you're doing is, which then feeds into more motivation, and then the cycle just keeps going. So what you can do to hack that cycle is, no matter how you're feeling, you just got to get started and do something. So then by doing that action, that will then create some sort of inspiration, which will then create some sort of motivation. And then that cycle will repeat. So it's all about starting. So for what this author talked about was he had 2 hours every day, which he set aside to writing for his book. And no matter how he felt, whether he felt like writing that day, whether he didn't feel like writing that day, he said, I'm going to start writing. I think it might not have even been 2 hours, it might have been just half an hour. He said, for that half an hour, I'm just going to write. And by that end of that half an hour, it was just a shit show and he just didn't get anything done. Cool. Cuts it off there because he's not going to achieve anything from that. But sometimes he found that just by starting in that first half an hour, he gets all these ideas going and then he ends up writing for a couple of hours. So yeah, it's all about just getting started. And so from a fitness point of view, just getting started and getting that warm up going. And then sometimes you're feeling it and you just smash the session. Sometimes you go, well, I'm not 100% feeling it today, but I'm going to still get through my movement, still get something in rather than doing nothing. And then by the end, you'll be better off for it. So I know personally, some of the best sessions I've had are the ones where I did not feel like going to the gym at all. I've just got myself there because I'm going, okay, I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to get there. I'm going to warm up, see how I'm feeling, and then see where the session takes me. And then some of those sessions have been the best sessions I've had.
I would like to quote a member here. A member everyone gets one guess on which member I'm about to quote. Simon.
You haven't done the quote.
What's the quote?
Oh, okay. No, I don't want to tell you the quote. I want you to figure it out beforehand.
No, you got to say the quote.
Well, now I've got to rethink the way I was going to say it.
Well, you just say the quote.
Yeah, but I was going
to say the quote and then we guess.
You don't have to smash it every day. You just have to do it every day. Or not have to do it every day. You don't have to smash every session. You just have to do the session.
Yeah, I like that.
Who said that?
Rio or Wembley?
Wembley. Jules is out.
I'm cooked. Brit.
No.
Okay.
I want to say Beck, but I don't think so because she just wants to smash it every session.
No, not Beck. But you're thinking along the same lines of one of those guys that we see at Wembley, the guys we see at Wembley, and same with Freo, the guys that we see at Freo, that kind of level of guys who just get in and get stuff done, and they're the ones we see massive results with.
Mario.
No.
He's done it. It was Mario.
Was it actually?
Mario said that to me. Yeah,
I think they're the two people I've known
in a session up there. Yeah, so it was an afternoon session. He came in. He was like, as soon as it was a morning session, he walked in and was like, right, I'm real cooked today. I'm just here to get it done. I'm just here to get some work done. I went, okay, sweet. I'll come over in a second. We'll see how you're going. Yeah. And he was just like, just give me 20 minutes. I was like, I'll give you 20 minutes. I'll come see how you're going. I came back and the guy was going absolutely crazy. He was killing it, absolutely smashing it. And just getting himself real revved up, getting it done. Yeah. And then I was like, how did you get yourself up for that? And he was like, I've just it's not about killing every session. It's just about making sure you do every session. I was like, man, that's awesome. Good job. I was going to put it on Instagram, but then I forgot. Back when I wasn't an influencer. But yeah, I thought that was really good.
And then sometimes you're not feeling it because you're overworked or something. And that doesn't mean you have to go in and then smash it. That just means you just have to listen to yourself. You still need to get it done. It just needs to be a lower intensity. You're just getting that movement in, and it's not about smashing the session. You're just getting it done. So at the same time, you really want to get it done consistently and have that discipline to do it. But you also got to listen to yourself. And it's not exactly what Mario said. It's not about smashing every single session, because sometimes you're just not going to feel it. But just do it every single time and have that consistency and that discipline, and you will get to your results.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really important. It's like one of the hardest part about, getting a coach, yeah? The hardest part about getting a coach is having the meeting with actually contacting the guy at the start. That's the hardest part, yeah? Everyone knows of someone who has been saying they're going to get a PT or they're going to get a coach for, years. And they're just like, yeah, I'll do it. Oh, I'll get my knee fixed. Oh, I want to get stronger. I want to do this. And they tell you this for years, yeah? And they never do it, because the hardest part is actually making that phone call, I reckon. Like, because and this is where it's different to joining a gym, because they'll join gyms and they'll fail, yeah? But because they know they needed a coach, and then they'll get a coach. And then it's done. Like, everything's sorted out for them.
Yep.
Anything, Simon?
I think we've
probably
extensively covered that topic.
Yeah.
Move on to your topic, Ron.
Well, the back squat. The back squat. We talk about, me and Simon have these discussions, I think, once a year about the back squat. And sometimes, and then we start going back to it, and then we start going, maybe not. And then we get back into it. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on the back squat? Because I had this brainwave, again, the same brainwave I have every time I listen to not just that episode of Ask Woodford. I'll put that in the comments.
Just listening to Mike Boyle.
When I listen to Boyle talking about squatting and, like single legs versus doing double leg squats and stuff like that. And it just, every time I hear it, I go like, fuck man, that makes sense. So for people that don't know, Mike Boyle is probably like been in the game for longer than probably a lot of other people. He's probably one of the first.
I think you said he's been doing it for 38 years, and he's owned his own gym for 22.
Yeah, so he's probably one of the first dudes to do private sector like gym for athletic development and stuff like that. If you're in S&C, you know who this guy is. He's written hundreds of books and done all this stuff. He's a pretty crazy dude. So if you want to Google someone and learn something, for anyone who's a PT or whatever, or just wants to learn, check out Mike Boyle and go from there. But he talks about how he doesn't back squat guys anymore. And he hasn't done it for ages. And the amount of crap that he gets for it. And he's like, the reason I don't do it, there's a bunch of reasons he doesn't do it, but one is the spinal loading, and do you need it? Another one is to fix the differences between. And he had something else. Axial loading as well was another thing, but we don't need
axial loading is pretty much the same as the spine thing.
Yeah, and just like the tension points from if you're doing it as a back squat versus like how much pressure points you're going to have with midlines and stuff like that, and the margin for error. Really, it just comes back to risk versus reward, and especially with athletes. And do you need it if you're not actually a bar sport athlete? Go.
Yeah, right. It's an interesting one because it's hard to. Yeah, it's so goal oriented because I would actually agree with Mike Boyle. I think in terms of it depends what you want to achieve. There's guys like I know when I used to be super into all I wanted to do was build muscle and look like a bodybuilder. Some of the biggest guys in the gym never back squatted and hadn't back squatted for years, and that's fine for them if that's their chosen sport and if they're getting the results that they need without back squatting. Then the rewards outweigh the risks, and they can keep doing what they're doing. But I think there's you would never blanket and say that there's no place for the back squat because I think there's definitely athletes and Gen Pop that need to be back squatting. Having said that, I guess if somebody is particularly not built for a back squat or if they just don't like it, some people's hips make them squat funny and they get pain in weird places, and then the risk starts to outweigh the reward, and it's pretty simple to give them something else like a goblet squat or a front squat that might hit them from a different angle and get the same results. So I think every rule has an exception, and I would never say don't back squat or I would never say that everybody should be back squatting. I think it's just a super case by case basis. I haven't listened to that actually though, so I'd need to hear what he has to say.
Of course you haven't.
No, but like, it sounds super interesting. What was his actual reason? Just risk versus reward, and not everybody needs it.
Well, he also mentioned like another bit was quite important because he's talking about athletes, yeah, and he's talking which athlete name an athlete that actually needs to press with both feet at the same time that isn't under a barbell.
Yeah, interesting.
There is one.
Rower.
Rowing, yeah, rowing is the
Yeah,
only one. Everyone
That's
else.
not a real sport though.
Okay.
I'm joking. I'm just really bad at it, so I talk shit about it.
That's because you got those stumpy levers, mate.
Yeah.
You're like me. But like you've got jumping. When you watch anyone actually jump one leg.
Well,
yeah?
but you also think about this, right? Because this is where I disagreed with. Well, I didn't disagree, but he didn't bring this up because he was like, you watch basketballers jump, and he said they never jump off 2 feet. And I was like, well, some of the best jumpers in the world do jump off 2 feet, but the loading between each leg in a 2 foot approach jump is completely different because the ground contact times are different. So when you're doing an approach jump off one leg, you obviously just get that one leg hits the ground and you go. But when you're doing it off two, the first that you never, unless you have no idea how to jump, you'll watch some guys that they'll run up and then they're just like kind of
try and buddy hop.
Like you'll never jump very high doing that. But if you watch the best of the best jumpers who jump off 2 feet, the first foot plants and then the second foot. So they call the first foot the break foot, and then the second foot's like the pop foot. So that's the first foot is going to have a longer ground contact time than the second foot, and therefore like people will argue that the back squat's important for jumping because you're using 2 legs, but each leg has been used completely differently.
Yeah, but like realistically, you're pressing off 1 foot still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're still pressing off 1 foot.
And that's why like...
And that's actually like a Bulgarian split squat in a lot of senses.
Yeah, and that's why, doing like a single leg exercise like a Bulgarian is going to be more beneficial.
Running. If you see someone running with both feet on the floor, it's not running. It's like, it's hopping. You're trying to look like a kangaroo.
Though.
Yeah, unless you've got staggered feet, and then you're just wasting your own time. It's like skating, 1 foot, other foot, 1 foot, other foot. He's ice hockey, so that's where he gets that from. Don't know. Like, what else? Like, I can't think of stuff apart from like guys who are actually like squatting. Because if you're a powerlifter, yeah,
obviously you have to because that's your sport.
Your sport is squatting, so yeah, you're gonna have to squat, yeah. But like, if you're not a powerlifter, do you need to back squat? Simon, you've been very quiet.
Comes down to context. Like, I see the argument both ways. If it's a goal someone has that they want to, say, back squat 150 kilos, then obviously you have to train them for it. An athlete, you don't really need to give it to them. But you could use it as an accessory to teach them something.
Yeah.
Like it can be a training tool. It doesn't have to be like a max strength or...
Doesn't have to be for excessive load, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like one of your first or second exercises of the session. It could be like a conditioning exercise at the end, or like I don't know. I wouldn't rule it out completely. I just wouldn't.
I think
context and when it's needed.
Yeah, I think for them, Mike Boyle can obviously argue for his context because he only trains athletes. So there's very few athletes who will need to back squat besides who will have more reward versus risk from back squatting, and that's probably like maybe a rower, but you can still probably achieve just as much without doing it. Whereas like general population, like you said, that's going to be some people's goals. So working towards that is important, and if you don't back squat, you're never going to get it.
Yeah. If someone had, obviously, but that's, if you say someone has a goal of a certain number on a back squat, that has become their sport, even if they're general pop.
Yeah. But like even in that case, like wouldn't back squat them straight away. They've got to be able to do
exactly.
Like all our progressions before they even get to back squat.
And everyone who comes in the gym, we do a lot, like as a gym, we do a lot of split stance stuff, mainly because of this reason, because this is what me and Simon have kind of been doing for a while. but we do a lot of split stance. Like there's a lot of Bulgarian split squats going on. Most people would have done a split squat or a Bulgarian or a lunge patterning, before they've probably done a back squat.
But I guess the thing we missed was we started too quickly on Bulgarians, where we should have done more of the ISO split squats and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What's something we've been building back in, because we did do that at one stage. We made sure we did split squat, then Bulgarian, and then move up from there. And then we kind of went, let's just do the Bulgarians, and then we've gone back. And so shit changes all the time. But it's something that every time I listen to it, I go like, oh, yeah, man, that makes sense. So no more back squatting for Ryan because I don't need it.
Or you're just using it as an excuse because you suck at it.
But I don't suck at it. But I don't suck at it because back when I was back squatting, I had for a person who's not a power lifter, I had a quite reasonable to almost good for my body weight back squat. Yeah. So, but I was a breaststroker, so maybe breaststroke is another sport that you could argue. But at the end of the day, there's still two legs moving on two different resistances. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm just going to stick to push-pull. I hate squatting.
So we've gone all the way around and we've just realised that squatting sucks.
Yeah. It just beats you up. Like it is the one that beats you up the most.
Yeah, most taxing on the nervous system.
Well, yes and no. Like they say deadlift's more taxing, but like it depends whether you're good at deadlifting or good at squatting.
Mm.
Yeah,
I used to always the squat was the only thing I could lift decent amount of weight because I'm so quad dominant. But now I've got more into deadlifts, and now I just love deadlifts compared to squats. So, but I'll always love Bulgarians. Bulgarians are my favorite. They're way better than squats.
Yeah, even me and Simon said it the other day. Is like that because Simon, you're doing the Joe DeFranco SB 911,
yeah,
at the moment, and you're in that section of it that is like the worst but the best feeling ever.
I've just finished the third week.
Oh, so you're just about to move. So you're about to move on to ISO week?
I haven't even looked, to be honest. I'll bring it up.
It goes eccentrics, ISO, and then max, doesn't it? Or something like that.
I think so. So I've just been doing box squat, barbell back squat with a box.
Yeah. And you were doing your Bulgarians, yeah?
Yeah. So now, going to partial ranges and, eccentrics.
Yeah. And you've got your eccentric Bulgarians.
Oh, it's there's ISOs and ESOs. So it's all mixed up.
Yeah, you get that weird block.
I think I prefer this phase the best.
The middle one?
Yeah.
The eccentric and ISO one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wicked. We say it all the time. We just go the 6 second eccentric Bulgarian split squat is just one of the most painful things you could ever do, because 6 seconds is a long time. That's a long.
I would rather hold one for a minute and then do 6 seconds.
I don't know. I think this 3 second pause at the bottom is going to suck.
Yeah, because you're more loaded though. So you can load more if you're just holding down the bottom.
Yeah, I love doing holds. I hate doing tempos for
that 6 second Bulgarian is I've never got results out of an exercise more than that, I think, in terms of just the way my legs transformed in 3 weeks and the strength that you get out of it for the next phase, for when you go back to trying to push numbers again, you just feel so good.
Yeah. I remember.
Actually, moving on, I want to talk about those ISOs because we do a lot of ISOs as well, but we don't do the super long ones. And I know, Adam, you do a lot of looking into this, and you're deep into it. So talk us through it, because I've been starting to get my head around it a little bit more, those super long ones.
Yeah,
and I'm probably going to start trying to just do some and see how it feels.
Yeah, I haven't played around with the super long ones for a while, besides dead hangs.
Yeah, but
so for people who don't know, the super long ones is basically the main ones is a ISO lunge, dead hang, a single leg hold. So you stand on one leg and you bring your other leg up on a 45-degree angle and you just hold that. So those are the 3-4 main ones.
There was a push up as well, wasn't there?
Oh, and the push up hold. Yeah,
it talks a lot about a push up.
That one's brutal. So like what they'll do, they'll hold the position for between 3 and 5 minutes is like the goal. Obviously, straight off the bat, most people won't be able to do that, depending on the movement. But the most overlooked thing for ISOs, especially once you get into that long duration, is like the mental and emotional benefits that you get from that. Like, I think the saying or whatever was like, if you can hold for 2 minutes, like there's a good chance you can hold for that 3 minutes, and if you can hold for 3.5 minutes, you can probably hold 5 minutes. It's just that last
it's like the
minute
plank.
and a half.
Like after about a minute, it gets like I get bored.
The pain is the same at a minute as it would be at 5 minutes for me. Like it's just like, you know, how long do I want to stay here for and put myself through this?
But do they, like the stuff you've been reading, do they talk about external load with it rather than going 3, 4, 5 minutes? You kind of like,
so you get different,
start adding more weight.
So some of the stuff I've read is in terms of like the tendon health, like 30 seconds is the mark. If you go beyond 30 seconds, like from 30 to 40, 30 to 50, there's not much difference in the benefits you gain. But that 30 seconds has to be like maximal. So say for a split squat, if body weight is at 30 seconds and you can't go any longer, then that's like perfect for your tendons. But if that is comfortable to get 30 seconds, then you need to load it at that 30 seconds. Whereas these longer duration ones, they'll hold just body weight. Because I don't know about you, but I would not want to try holding for 3 minutes in a lunge with external load.
No, it's just it's a question of too much stuff for your nervous system, I think, in that case. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to, like, especially if you're doing grip strength with that, like, you're going to start real stinging out on that. What's the guy's name again? Dr. Tommy John.
Dr. Tommy John.
Yeah, I've been checking out his stuff on that. He's got a term for it as well. What is it? Extra. He says it quite smoothly, and I don't know what it is. Extra long ISO or something like that.
Extreme
ISO holds and stuff like that. And I was like, it's cool stuff, and I like what he's doing. And I'm going to start looking into it a little bit more.
Yeah, and then some of the stuff he talks about is like the implications for recovery as well.
Yeah, and this is where I got
really heavy, and then on the next day, or even just at the end of that lift, he'll hold a push up for like 5 minutes, and then the next day he'll feel fantastic. It's like obviously the first couple times you do it, you'll get like sore as fuck the next day, but once you build up that capacity, that's going to speed up your recovery so much. Because the thing that people don't realize with ISOs is the muscle's not just like, once you get in that position, the muscle doesn't just stay still. The muscle's actually just like contracting like hundreds and thousands of times to hold you in that position. So the amount of contractions that you get holding that position for 3 to 5 minutes would be like if you just went for like a really, really long walk and like flushed out the system. So that's kind of the benefits you gain from that.
I know he's with baseball, so he's mainly baseball, isn't he? So
that's his background.
Yeah, so and he was talking about doing after, because like how Simon, how pitchers just like pitch and pitch and pitch and pitch, and their shoulders get destroyed and they can't do pitch. They're supposed to not pitch for like after a big pitching day.
They're scared of they're scared of doing any gym work.
Yeah. So he was saying like he did this with two dudes. Like he said it in the podcast, he did it with two dudes after they did a massive pitch
shoulder
day.
recon.
Yeah, after shoulder
they both had
stuff like that. Ooh, what's going on?
And then they did the long duration push-ups, and then he used the ISOs, and then he would get them to pitch. And once the shoulder started hurting, they'd stop. And then he just kind of tracked how many throws they could do. And then it got to the point where they could pitch like 200 balls at like max intent. Then afterwards, they just hold a 5-minute push-up, and their shoulders are completely fine.
And they're walking the next day and be able to do the same thing.
And all the baseball coaches were like losing their mind because like 200, like they'd normally do like maybe 40 in a session. And it's like, well, these guys just have that physical capacity to go that and do it again the next day. So
yeah, so
base real well.
So yeah, I was like, I'm going to give this a go because I reckon, baseball and swimming are very, very similar in a lot of ways when it comes to shoulders and stuff like that. Swimmers have do a lot more reps in their shoulders than the baseball guys do, but at probably less velocity. So, but my God, that could be a game changer in the shoulder rehab space for swimmers and stuff like that, or just prevention space.
And then dead hangs as well for shoulders.
Yeah, because we're already doing the dead hangs because we know the benefits of that, the decompression of the spine and the shoulder capsule and stuff like that. So we've already been doing those, and that's a very key thing. And mate, we're doing it mainly thinking about the grip strength, and then the other things were bonuses. So like, I'll be interested to see how that goes going forwards.
Yeah, dead hang, like, because obviously for the most part, if we program it in our gym, and I know for some of my clients I'll program it similarly, it'll be like 3 rounds of 30 seconds and it'll be like supersetted with another exercise or something. But what I've been playing around with is doing 5 to 7 minutes every day in as few sets as possible. So like, if you can hold for 5 minutes straight on a dead hang, you are fucking insane. Like, that is some pure strength and mental resilience right there. But like, it just challenges you so much mentally once you get past like a certain point, because the best benefit, so what he talks about, the best benefit from the dead hang in terms of that mental and emotional like change that occurs when you're holding a position like that, your body is like freaking out, like your nervous system is freaking out. In every single other exercise, you can adjust your position very slightly and compensate. So like, say a lunge, you'll start at a certain height, and throughout the lunge, you'll probably like gradually drop. Or
you'll go
like
up or down, or up or down, or up or down.
You'll push more into your heel, you push more into your forefoot or something like that. A dead hang, you're holding, and there's like, besides like kind of shifting around your hands, there's literally no compensation you can do. And so the challenge, like how much that challenges you mentally to just keep holding, is like one of the main benefits from the dead hang. So he said he used it with his brother who had severe depression and like suicidal thoughts, and after doing all that, like his emotional strength was like so much better, and he could tolerate so much more because of that.
We used to do hangs like for swimming, but the motivation behind it was different. But I remember getting like feeling crazy good. You just feel like he said, like I really related to how he said, like he feels invincible. Like he can do anything. He can do anything.
Quote, yeah.
I could stop a car driving. Obviously, don't do that. And he said that, but like I kind of triggered that back in my head, because we used to do hangs at swimming for as long as our race would be. So that was Matt McGee, and he was like mental resilience and stuff like that, but grip strength and whatnot. And I was like, okay, sweet, this sounds cool. We used to do it every time after training. We used to do it after a Tuesday and a Thursday morning. What are two of our toughest mornings, and you'd feel great afterwards. But like the mental stress, so I was 200 breaststroke. So I think at that stage I was 216 or something when we were doing them. 216, 214. So
that's a long hang.
So that's a long time. So, but then once we got to that, and we got to like, I think I got to 220, and then we're like, sweet, let's change this up a bit. So we used to do it, used to hang. Yeah. So the start would be a pull-up, just as like, so we used to go through the race, like visualize the race, and you'd pull up, go back to your hang. So that's your start. Okay. And you used to do it for short course or long course. So if you're doing short course, you've obviously got double the amount, but you do the pull-ups every time you had a turn or something. And Jesus Christ, I've never done something so hard in my life, doing, hanging for the duration of my 200 breaststroke while having to do a pull-up. So you've already like so weak, and we know that, like when your forearms start dying off, your pull-ups get real hard.
Oh yeah.
Everything gets hard.
Yeah. So like that's probably the craziest experience I've had. And once you do those, you're just like, I could win anything. Like you could win anything. Like I can do that. No one else here can do that. Crazy.
Yeah, and like if you can hang like a minute, that's pretty solid. If you can hang 2 minutes, like that's insane. I think the longest I've done is like 2.5, and I was feeling real good that day as well. And the best thing about ISOs, which we haven't touched on, is it's all intent driven from yourself and your body. If your body is cooked that day, you will not be able to hold any longer. So like one of the biggest problems with like overtraining and stuff is sometimes when you shouldn't be lifting really hard, you feel that motivation. You're like, yeah, I'm going to smash this session. And that's a session you should absolutely not smash. But when you're doing ISOs, like particularly the dead hang, if you're not feeling good that day, you would not be able to hold on to that bar no matter what, no matter how like mentally tough you are, you just fall off. And it's the same with like the lunge. So in terms of auto regulation, it is like the perfect thing because you would not be able to hold longer than your body will allow you to.
Yeah. So beware, guys, because those could be coming back in a big way when we reopen the gym. So we already do it.
Well, the best thing you don't really need any equipment as well.
We already do like a bunch of ISOs. Like we've already been doing these ISOs, like without even listening to this guy. Like WTY holds with the bands, like prone around the worlds. Like there is movement to that, but realistically, it's just a really long way of doing an ISO in your shoulder capsule. Hangs, we've been doing that. We've been doing, like your tempo Bulgarians, your tempo squatting, your tempo rows, like, six holes up top. Like, so we're doing a lot of ISO work anyway. So like these could just be some nifty little challenges that we throw in there, I think.
And what he uses it as well is like at the end of a session or at the start of a session particularly the end of a session to like kind of kickstart that recovery process. So what he would do, he used to be a baseball skills coach, and he would pitch like 10,000 pitches a day because he's throwing to kids hours on end. And he said he'd just hold a 5-minute ISO at the end of his set, like at the end of his day for coaching, come back the next day, throw like another however many pitches, and his shoulder was fine. When he didn't do that, his shoulder would just get absolutely cooked.
Yeah. Simon, you're deep in thought. I can see it. What's going on?
No, all good.
Nothing to share?
No. I think you guys are covering it all.
You're just seeing the monkey go like this?
Yeah, pretty much. It's getting to that food time again. I'm hungry.
I feel that.
All right, Jules, what did you do?
Do you see the big piece of meat I had last night?
No. How big?
I had a big piece of meat last night. I felt very
Did you weigh it?
No, I didn't weigh it.
I ate too much meat last night. When you get that really heavy like gut feeling?
Yeah, not good. Yeah.
Oh, mate, I ate too much.
So I had one of these.
Oh, was that? Were you invited to that?
Were you invited?
I've got 3 of them in the fridge at the moment.
Ooh.
So we're having team meetings at your place because we're allowed to.
Yes.
Yeah,
team
meetings.
10 people.
Team meetings at KCH.
Yeah. Yeah, Jules, what have you been up to, mate?
I've been making myself into the greatest MMA fighter of all time still. What's still my goal?
Is your new wrestling and MMA name Sam?
Sam. How do you say the surname?
How do you say the surname?
I can't give it away because I don't know if he wants his private information everywhere.
Well, you're giving it to everyone.
I think he wants his laptop back too. But what have I been doing? I'll tell you what I've been doing. I've started moving away from the generalized training, which I took basically all from Phil Durrer and his programming that he uses for his actual fighters. And I've started making mini blocks of like 1 week with a different goal for each week that a combat sports athlete would have in place. So obviously they're doing like 2-a-days every day of the week. So they have more time to work on it, where I've got the luxury of a lot of time and a lot of time of rest as well. So I'm just doing, I'm working on one aspect of it every week. This week is going to be speed and power, and like specifically punch power. I was actually talking to Adam yesterday about punch power, and especially with like a jab cross, your straight punches, where you're getting to full extension, the power is all coming from the tricep, and basically it's isolated. It's specifically at your end range of a punch. It's like the flick at the end that sort of hurts the people. That's where you get your power from. So that's like Phil recommends trying to mimic more sort of spastic tricep patterns, if that makes sense. So using bands that are really tight and then doing tricep push downs that kind of go different directions. It's almost like an anti-rotational alphabet for your triceps, where they're moving in a lot of different directions.
Is that one of the ones where they have that, like they just have the thick green band around the rack, they'll sit under it and they're just like...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That looks so painful.
Yeah, it looks flat. So I've been trying to do that
as well.
And I because I feel like I haven't quite mastered it yet. I don't feel like I'm super in control, which you obviously have to do.
I think that's part of it. I think you just like don't feel in control.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that I'm going to work on this week. I've also, I've stolen a bunch of stuff from him. I should probably start paying him royalties, but I'm only training myself at the moment anyway, so it's all right. So another thing is hang on, I'm going to get something up. Yeah. Okay, so he's big into rotational throwing, and I've kind of invented my own exercise because the other aspect of the dog doesn't like what I'm saying. Did I offend him? The other aspect of speed is obviously in combat sports is footwork, right? So that's more of an acquired skill than it is an S&C issue. But if I can add those patterns to some of my speed and power work, I feel like I'm going to get double bang for my buck. So I've invented a new exercise that I'm going to. Well, you just announced that there was a combat sports training class coming in, so I'll use it in there. I won't give it fully away. But I've implemented a couple of footwork drills with rotational throwing, real heavy rotational throwing. So you do the footwork drill holding the big medicine ball thing, and then you've got your your rotational throws at the end of each line of footwork. So I got some sick stuff to give the guys and girls when that class starts. And then other little footwork things I've been doing, like skipping and stuff, which I've neglected for a long time. Because my big meaty calves burn out real quick when I do skipping. But it's good. Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to adapt, and I think it was more between the years that I was having issues with that kind of stuff because it's quite tedious. A lot like everything we've spoken about today, especially with ISO holds and dead hangs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely. I agree with the dog. Yeah, so that kind of tedious stuff I've been trying to work on now that I got a lot of time on my hands. So yeah, this is power and speed week with a lot of footwork patterns. So next week I'll give you guys a wrap up on how that went and if I'm a better fighter yet. And then next week I'm trying to sort out a rotational punch power week. So instead of the straight punches, the rotational punches. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Your hooks and your 3-4 punches from combos and uppercuts and stuff, you have to get power from different parts of the body. So that's next week's job. So I'm looking forward to reporting back on that. And the other thing I wanted to do was try and implement more Olympic style lifting. And I haven't done that since me and Simo did that program. Who wrote that program we did that time?
Christian, I can't pronounce his name. The French Canadian guy.
Yeah, so that was the last time I did.
Was that the bobsled program that broke you?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember training people and just you're in the background.
Simo's clanging and banging.
And Simo is just
crying.
Lying on the ground between sets.
Yeah. As soon as the gym opens, that's the first program I'm doing.
Is it? Yeah, I couldn't do it again. I didn't even finish it the first time. Yeah. I suck. But yeah,
I don't think Simon did either.
No, Simon restarted the same week 4 times.
Yeah. So I want to implement some of that next week as well. So next Monday, should I, remember these chats happening, I'm going to give you guys my Ollie lifting plan, and I'm going to tell you how my speed and power week work patterns ended up. So that's my homework.
Nice. All right. Simon, have you got anything to add?
No. About what? I've got dogs barking. I can't.
And he's hungry. Man's hungry.
All right, we'll wrap that up for today. I think there's a lot of good little nuggets in there. A couple of things. I'm going to be on another roundtable with the same Orphic guys on Wednesday. So if you want to tune into that, they'll be.
They're having you back.
Soon. Yeah, they're having me back. I don't know why.
Is that still up on Facebook? I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's still there. I linked it in, but I don't know where it's got.
Time today, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it should be there. So yeah, you can watch that.
How long did it go for? A couple hours?
We went 2 hours, man.
Yeah, I might have to break that one up over a few days.
It was supposed to be an hour, and it went to.
Well, mate, you had Christian.
No, but it wasn't
Christian
even
for
it
one.
wasn't even
and Ryan.
It wasn't even Christian. Christian didn't really say that much. He was very good. Yeah, it's just we took a while to get to the past the first question. First question took us about an hour, I think. So
what kind of topics do you cover?
I can't remember. But it's there.
Later
on this week, we've got interview with Beck Johnston from the Tightline Family Centre. That's a real good one. So I encourage everyone to go listen to that. Cooking with Ryan, of course, will be out on Friday, and there'll be a few things dotted along between. So from myself, Ryan, the influencer ever, Evenden.
You stuff up your own last name.
Yeah, I got my last name right. I don't have to say it that much. So Ryan, the influencer, Evenden, I'll edit it out. Winston and his friend, Adam Komatsu. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yes. And Julian Ward, because I can't pronounce Italian.
AKA Julian Bandillo, AKA Sam.
AKA Sam. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. And for everyone at home, it's happening. The gyms are coming back. We're going to be outside kicking some goals from end of this week into next week. So what a time to be alive. I can get out of this little hot seat and we can keep going from there. So for everyone, stay strong, stay safe, stay connected, and be formidable.
Formidable.
Simon's so impressed. Look at